Hey out there, legal warriors. What should you do if you're a victim of a crime, and what should you expect? What's the process? If you're interested in this area of the law, or if unfortunately you find yourself a victim of a crime, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear, and I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years. And I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get to see this and get the help they need. So why am I putting out this video about what to do if you're a victim of a crime? I have a few videos for victims out there. I was a prosecutor for many years, so I'm very familiar with that side of things. And of course, I've been a defense attorney for 20 years. And, I'm just going to share a little bit of what's happened to me. I was recently a victim of a crime, and so it reminded me how difficult it can be when you feel helpless, when you feel victimized, you feel gut punched or stunned, and you don't know what to do. And there's different levels of being a victim of a crime. There's property crimes, there's personal crimes, very serious sexual offenses, and so this doesn't apply to everybody, but I think what you need to do if you're a victim of a crime is the first thing, you have to report it, right? You have to report it to the police. And sharing with what happened to me, that's what I did. I have a law office in Lynnwood, right? And I have, I live in a very small house, and I've got a storage unit in Lynnwood, and someone broke into it. Someone broke into it on Thanksgiving and took some very important things from me, some very valuable things. Hey, we got a little video clip of it right here if you want to see what it looks like. Here's someone breaking into the storage unit and then taking off with some important things, and we didn't learn about that until weeks later. And so in that situation, as an ex-prosecutor in that town, I had to think, well, what is it that I should do? Well, I think the first thing that if we're a victim of a property crime we want to do is, don't disturb the scene too much, and then call the police. Call the police, and then you want to cooperate with the police and go where they want you to go so you can explain what happened. And typically you're going to meet with a police officer. They're going to have you fill out a witness statement about what happened. They're going to interview you about what happened. And then if it's some type of assault charge or something that just happened right then and there, they might go try to find the suspect. If it's something that happened in the past, then they're just going to take that report, and then they're going to likely see if it can be assigned to a detective. Because typically if you report a crime that is happened in the past, days ago, weeks ago, months ago, patrol type officers will come out and they'll take the initial report, but it's not their job to follow up and do an investigation. Now, if you're reporting a crime that's happening right then and there, hey, I just got punched by my boyfriend, or someone just literally just stole my car, 30 seconds ago, or I'm a victim of a crime, I've gotten sexually assaulted or something that just happened, well, then patrol may show up and rally other officers to try to deal with the situation right then. But for the most part, if a crime isn't emergent at that very moment, then it's going to take some time, and the case is going to get assigned to detectives. So number one, report it and follow up with what the officers want you to do. But that doesn't end things right there, because once you report it, now what? Believe it or not, there's not really great systems to keep you as the victim of a crime informed of what's going on. What you want to do is you want to get a police report number from the law enforcement agency involved. Get a police report number. Now, I'll come into Lynnwood. Lynnwood had a really great system. I didn't know they had this. I got a text message from them saying, here's your report number and here's who assigned to your case. So I didn't even have to ask for it. I had gotten it from the responding officer, who happened to be one of the officers that I worked with when I was a prosecutor in that town. So good to see him again. But you want to get that case number, because that may be the only quick way you have to figure out what's going on with your case. So let's say you've reported things and you don't know what's next. Well, you can call the police department and say, hey, can you tell me who's assigned to this case? Here's the police report number. You can do a public disclosure request and try to get a copy of the investigation going on in your case. Oftentimes you can get something as the victim of a case that someone else can't get, because let's face it, it's your crime that's being investigated. And if you want something to happen in your case, you've got to make sure that the law enforcement people know that you're paying attention, right? That you are trying to make something happen, that you're interested, because let's face it, law enforcement, like all of us, but especially law enforcement, they're overwhelmed. They have so many crimes they're dealing with. And the more serious crime it is, a violent crime against somebody, the more likely they're to follow up with it more urgently. But other types of crimes, older crimes, property crimes, they're going to sit around. And so just because they have to be sort of triaged and prioritized. So what you're going to want to do is follow up using that case number and try to respectfully connect with whatever person that's in law enforcement, a detective or someone else that is going to try to move forward with your case, because police, they want to help if you're the victim of a crime, but we've got to help them, right? We have to help them help us by letting them know we're interested, we're cooperative, and we're going to do what we can to try to help you, because it's pretty frustrating as law enforcement. I wasn't quite law enforcement directly, but I worked hand in hand with them when I was a prosecutor, so I could see behind the scenes, right? If they had a victim who wasn't going to help them, well, that case would go to the bottom. If they had someone that was more involved, maybe that case goes to the top and it's more likely to get investigated. So if you're a victim of a crime, you want to report it, you want to try to get the report number, and you want to follow up with law enforcement to find out what happens. So what else do you want to do? Well, if someone is being prosecuted for the crime for which you're a victim, now you've got some additional steps. You're going to want to find out who's doing the prosecution so you can figure out what's going on. If it's an assault case, you're a domestic violence victim, there's going to be a victim's advocate who's assigned to talk to you. They're going to make it easier. They're going to reach out to you to find out what your wishes are and what your needs are and stuff like that. But if it's a property crime or some other type of crime, there's no one who's going to do that, right? There's exceptions to all rules, but for the most part, it's going to be up to you to reach out and follow up with prosecutors, look at court dockets, things like that, so you can try to make sure you get what you need. If you have something stolen from you and they catch someone, well, you need to be able to tell the prosecutor in the court what was taken, what was it worth, so you can try to get restitution, right? If you're a victim of a personal crime, an assault or something else, you're going to need to be able to tell the court if you want a no contact order or not, or the prosecutor if you do. And for the most part, that's going to have to be on you to figure that out. So how do you know? Well, you start with law enforcement, you get those reports, you see if it's referred to a prosecutor. It's referred to a prosecutor, and then you can just look on Google, you can call them, you can talk to a defense attorney. They're going to know, right? Defense attorneys often also will work with victims in certain types of cases. Or you can just, call the prosecutor's office in the county you're in or the city that you live in where it happened. And so if you're a victim of a crime, you want to make sure that if the case is being prosecuted, that you also let people know you're interested in it if you are. We're all busy, but that's something you want to do. And then I think also, if you're a victim of crime, you want to worry about confidentiality. You want to try to make sure that that your information isn't being shared with the bad guy or the bad gal or whoever it is. And there are things that protect that, but it's things you want to tell the prosecutor too. Hey, I want to make sure that my personal information, whatever degree it can be, isn't shared with that person, because depending on your situation, you could be put at risk. So for the most part, I think that overall the picture is, we get out of it what we put into it, right? If we want some type of vindication, if we want some type of retribution, a knowledge about what's going on, unfortunately, we've got to stand up for ourselves to do that. You can hire an attorney or someone to help you if you want. We do represent people at times to help them through the difficult system, but you need to look out for yourself, because the people on the other side are trying to help you, but they just have so many people to help. If you started the squeaky wheel, so to speak, you're more likely to get the grease. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. And more importantly, if you're a victim of a crime and you think you need attorney help, in certain cases we may be able to help, just give us a call. If it makes sense for us, we'll definitely be in touch. We'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.